physician and cardiologist here. What is a cardiac arrest and what is the difference between a cardiac arrest to heart attack? So the heart, this is a heart model. So the heart is a muscular pump. Its job is to pump blood into the body, into the brain, back to the muscle of the heart, into the legs and all the vital organs. So when you go into a cardiac arrest, it means that the pump stops suddenly. All right? So this pump, the heart inside, the pump is made up of chambers. There are the lower chambers and the upper chambers. And the blood flow is controlled by the valves. The work of the valve is to ensure forward flow only, no backward flow in the circulation. So the blood will be leaving the heart when these lower chambers squeeze. It leaves the heart into the body, and then there's another vein that brings it back to the heart, and so it continues. I have said that this pump is controlled by electricity. Where does this electricity come from? It comes from, there's a generator here, a pulse generator, a natural one that you were born with, in the right auricle. So that electricity is generated continuously every second, and then it stimulates this muscle to pump adequately. Now, very many things will lead to a cardiac arrest. And cardiac arrest, I have said, is your heart just stops. And when your heart stops, whether you are walking, you will fall down because there's no blood supply to the vital organs. So you'll just drop to the floor. And the only way to survive that is if the heart is restarted immediately, as soon as possible. And usually, if let's say you get a cardiac arrest in the hospital, we usually call for a resuscitation code. There's what is called code blue. If a code blue is called, you go running. What you do, you check if the patient has got a pulse, and if there is no pulse, you start to do mechanical stimulation of the heart by, folding your hand. So you're gonna use the palm, and then you, on the left side where the heart is, on the left to the sternum, you start to do compression. The reason you're compressing is because you're helping to send blood out of the heart into the vital organ. You need to preserve the brain so that the brain does not die. Because if the brain dies and you manage to revive the heart, then the quality, there won't be life, your brain dead. So you have to do resuscitation, CPR, it's called cardiopulmonary resuscitation. You do chest compressions continuously. Someone else, if you're in the mall, in the supermarket, or in the field, someone else will be calling the ambulance, because the ambulance is fully equipped with everything that you need to revive someone's heart. And so you do the compressions continuously as you're trying to figure out what actually brought the cardiac arrest in the first place. So there are very many causes of cardiac arrest, and CPR or mechanical compressions, you're mechanically trying to keep the circulation going, and hopefully you will be able to revive the heart. There are medicines that we give during resuscitations, and sometimes we use electricity, we call it defibrillation, to bring back the heart. And that time, luckily, if you're in the hospital, or if the ambulance arrives and then you're put on the ambulance, there is usually a machine called a defibrillator. They will attach and then see what rhythm is there. Some rhythms call for immediate, you need to be shocked immediately to restart your heart. But then some rhythms call for just continuous mechanical stimulation of the heart until until you're able to sort it and revive the patient. Having a cardiac arrest, puts your life at risk, and not everybody comes back after cardiac arrest. We lose very many patients because we're not able to revive them during resuscitation. And even for the ones who we manage to revive, they can get another cardiac arrest and subsequent. I have ever spent my whole morning resuscitating a patient who kept going into cardiac arrest every hour. Goes into cardiac arrest, you gather your code blue, you resuscitate, he comes back. You stabilize everything, you get a blood pressure back and everything, and then 1 hour later it did not end well and he ended up losing his life. So what causes cardiac arrest? So it is a common final pathway for many chronic diseases. Like if you have terminal cancer, how you leave this world 99% of the time will be via cardiac arrest. If you have a big heart attack, so a heart attack, the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest is heart attack means, so again, this pump, in front of the pump we have got arteries that specifically supply the muscle of the heart. They are called coronary arteries. There are 3 of them, 2 on the left and 1 on the right. If any of them is blocked completely, then you get what is called a heart attack, right? And sometimes when the heart attack is so big, then the supply, blood supply to the muscle is impaired, and then your heart just stops, and then you go into cardiac arrest if you don't deal with the heart attack immediately. The other cause for a heart attack is electrolyte, not for heart attack, for cardiac arrest is what is called electrolyte imbalance. So if, let's say, your potassium level is so high, it will interfere with the electrical stimulation of the heart and you end up with cardiac arrest. If so electrical imbalances, and if your body is so acidotic, let's say you have kidney failure, your kidney is so failed, you need dialysis. If you don't do dialysis, you accumulate a lot of acidity in the body, and that can lead to cardiac arrest. Sometimes if you have a big stroke, you end up getting a cardiac arrest. So the heart is the center of everything, and anything can actually give you a cardiac arrest, including if you have a big pulmonary embolism, that is blood clots in the lungs on the right side. It will impair blood circulation because now there's like a blockage, so blood is not able to leave the heart into the lungs, and you can go into cardiac arrest. If there's water accumulating around your heart is in what is called massive pericardial effusion, it can make your heart to go into cardiac tamponade, so it limits your heart pumping activity, and you can go into cardiac arrests. So cardiac arrest is life-threatening, and you can easily lose your life because of a cardiac arrest. And in this country, if you go to the first world countries, you will find what is called defibrillators in all the corners because they have been trained. Many people have done basic life support. They've been trained even in the fields, in the schools, not just in the hospitals. And I think in this country we need to increase awareness so that if you get a cardiac arrest in the mall, someone should come and help to give chest compressions, and then use the defibrillator to jumpstart your heart. And yeah, it's the awareness that is low in this country, and then people don't even know what cardiac arrest is, but it's quite common. We see it a lot in the hospital. In the hospitals, if you hear code blue, you just know that that's a cardiac arrest, and the team has been called. There's a specific team every day that is usually called upon if there's a cardiac arrest in the hospital and someone needs to be resuscitated.